Hey everyone, Meg here with I Teach Stamping. Let's make a card. We're going to start with the Wonderful Thoughts stamp set, and I'm going to be using the Thinking of You sentiment. I'm going to stamp it in Coastal Cabana ink onto some basic white cardstock. Then I'm going to take my die cutting machine, use some low tack adhesive tape, and I'm going to cut this out. I'm also going to cut out a circle from the middle of a piece of white cardstock that starts at 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. I'm using the Stylus shape dies to help me do this. It's going to give me a great texture on the outside edge of my circle, and I've got a great scrap to put back in my bin. All right, we're going to pop the circle out, remove the die, and we're going to do the same thing with our sentiment. I'm going to use a paper trimmer, and I'm just going to use some scraps of cardstock to make scraps of cardstock. So I'm not measuring, I'm just making narrow little strips using Granny Apple Green, Melon Mambo, Daffodil Delight, and Coastal Cabana. So anytime you've got some odd little pieces laying around, you can either make your own, or if you have narrow strips, go ahead and use those for this card. It'll work. All right, so once all of our cutting is done, then we're ready to start weaving our pattern onto our cardstock. So I'm going to flip it over, and on the back side, I'm going to make a ring around the circle with my adhesive, and then we're going to start with our strip. Now you'll notice that I'm using grid paper. This is going to help me keep these lines nice and straight. So I'm using that grid paper to make sure. I'm going to weave this through, again, use my grid paper to get a straight line, and this is all taking place and being secured on the back side of our white cardstock. All right, so I'm just going to go through and mix and match these. For a full list of the supplies I'm using today, make sure you look in the description. It'll have a link to the blog post, has all the information for you. All right, once all of our weaving is done, then we're going to trim off any excess that we need to. Then I'm going to use dimensionals on the back side. I'm using more than I normally would. I'm using some in nice and tight to that center circle. That way it's not going to fall flat on my card. All right, white card base folded in half, and we're going to flip this over and add it to the front of our card. How cool does that look? I love this. Now I used 4 colors. You can use however many you want to. I'm going to use a dimensional and add our sentiment on top. Then we're going to add some rhinestones to finish, and I'm using the Take Your Pick tool to do that. All right, my friends, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.